When Emily woke up on the morning of her 35th birthday, she felt an unusual blend of gratitude and quiet sadness. The sun streamed gently through the curtains of their small but warm home in Cedar Falls, Iowa. The faint aroma of freshly brewed coffee drifted through the air, mingling with the soft hum of birds outside. It was a peaceful morning, yet her heart carried a heaviness that had lingered for months. Her husband Daniel was already awake. She could hear him downstairs, moving about softly, occasionally humming the tune of a song they used to dance to in their younger days. A faint smile touched her lips. Daniel had never been much of a singer, but he always sang with sincerity, and that was something she'd always loved about him. As Emily swung her legs out of bed, her eyes caught sight of a small folded note resting on her nightstand. The handwriting was unmistakably Daniel's, neat but slightly uneven from his years working as a mechanic. It read, "Don't come downstairs until 8 Your surprise awaits. Love, D." Emily chuckled quietly to herself. Daniel adored surprises, though his surprises were rarely extravagant. They were simple, tender gestures that spoke straight from the heart. Last year, he had taken her to the diner where they first met. The year before that, he'd built her a birdhouse because she loved watching the sparrows in their backyard. But this year, something about the tone of his note stirred her curiosity. She took her time getting ready, brushing her hair into soft waves and slipping into the blue sweater Daniel always said made her eyes shine brighter. Gazing at her reflection, she couldn't help but think of how far they had come together. 15 years of marriage, 2 children, and a home built from next to nothing. They had weathered layoffs, sleepless nights, and the kind of struggles that might have broken others. Yet, through every storm, Daniel had remained her anchor, her calm in the chaos. When she finally descended the stairs, she froze at the bottom step. The living room was adorned with soft pastel balloons, and a banner stretched across the wall that read, "Happy Birthday, M." On the coffee table sat a bouquet of daisies, her favorite, and beside it, a breakfast spread that looked straight out of a magazine. Daniel stood nearby, wearing a proud grin and holding a steaming cup of coffee in his hands. "Good morning, birthday girl," he said warmly. "Hope you didn't peak too early." Emily laughed, her eyes lighting up. "You really went all out, huh?" "Only the best for my favorite woman," Daniel replied, handing her the cup. They sat together at the table, savoring pancakes and reminiscing about old times, laughing between bites, their voices mingling with the soft clatter of forks and the quiet hum of morning. Yet, Emily noticed that Daniel kept glancing at the clock every few minutes, as if waiting for a perfect moment only he knew about. Finally, he pushed his chair back and walked over to the counter. "Okay," he said, his tone gentle, almost nervous. "I've been working on this for a while. It's not fancy, but it's from the heart." He handed her a small wooden box wrapped with a ribbon. It wasn't polished or store-bought. Every edge looked lovingly sanded by hand. Emily's fingers trembled as she untied the ribbon and lifted the lid. Inside lay a book, or rather a scrapbook. The first page held a photograph from their wedding day, framed with pressed wildflowers. Emily gasped softly. "Oh, Daniel." He smiled shyly. "Keep looking." Each page was a chapter of their life together. Photos, movie tickets, love notes, and drawings their children had made. Little mementos that told the quiet story of years spent growing, struggling, loving. Tucked into one corner was even a neatly folded napkin from their very first date. At the very back, a sealed envelope waited. Her name was written on it in Daniel's familiar handwriting. Her pulse quickened as she broke the seal and unfolded the letter inside. "Emily," it read, "I know this year hasn't been easy. You've been strong for all of us, stronger than I could ever be. When I tried to think of what to give you this birthday, I realized nothing I could buy would ever compare to what we've already built. This scrapbook is a reminder of our story, our laughter, our family, and everything we've shared. But I do have one more surprise. Look outside. Emily's breath hitched. She rose from her chair and slowly walked to the window. Her eyes instantly welled with tears. In the driveway stood an old teal-colored bicycle, gleaming as if it had just rolled off a showroom floor. It was the exact kind of bike she'd owned as a teenager, the one she used to ride to her grandmother's house every summer. She had once told Daniel how much she missed that feeling of freedom. And somehow, he'd remembered. She turned toward him, her voice trembling. "You did all this for me?" Daniel chuckled softly, his eyes warm. "I figured it was time you had a little adventure again." Overwhelmed, Emily rushed into his arms, tears slipping down her cheeks. "I love it," she whispered. "I love you." That afternoon, they rode together along the quiet country roads, their laughter carrying through the open air. The kids followed behind in the family car, cheering from the windows as their parents pedaled side by side. The wind tangled through Emily's hair, and for the first time in months, she felt truly alive. Not just as a wife, not just as a mother, but as herself. As the sun sank below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, they sat together on the porch, the scrapbook resting gently in Emily's lap. She leaned her head against Daniel's shoulder and smiled. "Best birthday ever," she murmured. Daniel kissed her forehead tenderly. "You deserve every bit of it." In that simple, perfect moment, surrounded by laughter, love, and the quiet hum of the world settling down, Emily realized that the most precious gifts in life aren't wrapped in boxes. They're found in shared memories, in hearts that stay connected through time, and in the steadfast presence of someone who never stops believing in you. As the evening breeze drifted across the porch, carrying the soft scent of daisies, Emily whispered a silent thank you, not just for the gift, but for the beautiful life they had built together.